guys? COVID Cabal back again. Back again. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Isn't it going to be interesting? You guys feeling it? Are you guys feeling it? We got some stuff to talk about today. Indeed. But I want to talk first about our wine today. Just a single bottle for you guys tonight. Now, we did a Lagrein earlier, but I saw another one, and this is the last one I think was the first one I had, or second one in my life. And this is, if you recall, it's an indigenous grape from Alto Adige. It's very, very deep colored. It can be often very bitter. But so I saw this one. I'm like, I gotta pick up another one. Give myself a second sample of what we got here. So let's see. The last one was very nice. This is similar. It's very inky. It's very inky. The tannins are actually very soft. Very soft. And you get a lot of black currant with this one. This is black currant. Blocking you, Tiger. If you spread these rumors barefoot and yellowtail, it's not happening. We're not doing that. Hi, Ben. How are you? Yeah, this is nice. This is really nice. It's very interesting because not a ton of tannin. It's mostly just the red and black fruit, the berries. And then, but you have this bitterness at the end, right? Almost like an herbal bitteriness. So guys, I gotta move this over here. This is the calm before the storm. It's the calm before the storm, guys. It's the calm before the storm. I didn't expect anything was going to happen today or yesterday, but I'm going to tell you what I do expect that's going to be happening. Okay, what I do expect is going to be happening. And I want to talk a little bit about something. You saw the title of this, Their 9/11. I want to point out something to you. Now, first off, I want to say, let's not get hung up too much on dates, right? Remember, we don't want to get too bogged down in 3D consciousness, right? We want to try to move a little bit above that. But obviously, of course, the inauguration matters, though, due to 3D stuff. But I think tomorrow is going to be a big day. Now, I think that we're going to see that the fundamental action we're looking for on the 20th. But I think that we're going to start to see some of the foundation laid tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why. There's a lot of symbology that revolves around this stuff. So, I mean, first off, it's the last full day of Trump's presidency. And so you're going to expect to see a lot of the disclosure and a lot of the pardons drop tomorrow. Okay. There's that stuff that was coming out with Ghislaine. I always forget how to pronounce her name. Ghislaine Maxwell. That a court, I think, has to decide whether it's going to be unsealed tomorrow. Of course, they could say no. But from what I understand, it's coming out tomorrow. Maybe it won't come out tomorrow. But all these documents around Obamagate will be dropped out tomorrow. And we also have probably the pardons are going to happen tomorrow, right? It's traditional for presidents to do their big pardons. Ghislaine, that's it. Ghislaine. To do their big pardons on their last full day of office. So we can expect that stuff to occur tomorrow. I think that I find that likely that there's going to be a lot of news about all sorts of corruption stuff that's been going on with the cabal. Okay. No, Salmon. No, you're here, Salmon. I see you. I see you, Salmon. Don't worry. You're around. Ghislaine. Okay. So I do expect we're going to see some stuff. And as Romeo just pointed out here, 9/11, remember mirror, right? And we are trying to invert symbolism. 9/11 was arguably, people have said that 9/11 is actually the birthday of Jesus, and that's why they use it as sort of like a reverse, because Jesus was not born in December. Okay, that was Saturnalia. They use that to tie it with the solstice holiday from the pagan Romans. But it's been indicated that Jesus' actual birth date was in September 11th. I've heard that. Okay. Now, whatever about that, but that was one of the reasons. If you notice in history, a lot of stuff has happened on 9/11. You call 911, right? There's a lot of symbology around that date, which is one of the reasons that they used it. Now, I think that there's a good indication that we're reversing that. And the opposite of 911 is 119, which is January 19th. Okay. So if we're going to take things from a strictly numerological, symbolic perspective, we can expect some things tomorrow. Okay. We can expect some things to happen tomorrow. You're at the White House on 91119. So you are the mirror right there. You're the mirror. So that's something, guys, to consider. Um, all indications are, I mean, Charlie Ward was saying that, communications are down. I think that we're in the midst of stuff going on. And so I want to, I don't know when we're going to talk. I mean, I think we'll be able to talk tomorrow, but I just want us to understand this is the last day that I feel certain that we are going to be talking for, that there could be the communication shutdown that happens at any point going forward. Okay. So I don't know what to tell people who are going to continue to doom post and are going to continue to be upset about this stuff going on. We are in a situation right now where they are now publicly saying basically that they are going to they're going to take down the wall and they're going to let people come in. They've talked about now completely changing the judiciary, just changing the system so they can get rid of all the judges and put their own judges in. And they are planning to go through the public, basically put Trump supporters into re-education camps, blacklist them from jobs, and also go through the military and do the same thing. Okay. So you guys have to, I understand that's very scary to hear. It's very scary to hear. But as far as I'm concerned, that is so insane, so over the top that you can't for a second expect the military to do nothing about it. You can't expect that to happen. Okay? We are not at that point in the country. There are already people who are revolting against the rules and regulations that they've been putting out there. All the COVID bullshit. People are seeing through it. There's too many people who are awake. They can't slip this under the radar. All right? So I know that people get freaked out. It's just a scare tactic. It's also what demons do when they're panicking. All their plans are out for everybody to see right now. So please, 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 please see the forest through the trees. Hold the line with this stuff. There's really, I mean, people see like Melania put out a video and people start to panic. About this. It's over. Doesn't make any sense, guys. Doesn't make any sense. They are not acting like people who are in control. I love that Bane scene, right? I love that scene from The Dark Knight Rises, where the guy's bossing around Bane, and Bane puts his hand on his shoulder and it says, "Do you feel in control? Do you feel in control?" They're not in control. That guy was yelling and saying, "No, you gotta do this. You gotta do this. Hey, how you can't do that? Do you feel in control?" That's what I would like to say to the cabal. Do you feel in control? I don't think that they feel in control. I'm very good at reading people's sub-communication, and all I see is fear and panic from them. Allegedly, there was an assassination attempt on Trump on the 9th. Simon Park said that. I mean, I believe it. I'm sure they've been trying to kill him over and over again. When we were at his speech on the 6th, they had bulletproof glass all around him. He was in like a bulletproof glass cage. Okay, why would you be doing that for a president who's leaving? Why would you try to impeach a president who's leaving? Why would you be so freaked out about all the military there? Why would you be trying to get the FBI to vet every single soldier going into the area? And then why would the military decline that? Why would Nancy Pelosi be freaking out about the fact that Chris Miller is appointing a general counsel to the NSA, which, by the way, general counsel to the NSA deals with disclosure of information that the NSA has. Why would Chris Miller be doing that the day before, 2 days before, a president who would almost certainly deny that would come through? You have to start asking deeper questions here. So much smoke and mirrors. So much smoke and mirrors. The truth is that they're done. That's the truth. That's the truth. There is no way that they are going to be able to survive. There's no way. I'm not saying that as a, encouraging anyone to do anything. I'm just saying it's not going to happen. It's a matter of fact. It's not going to happen. And we have the privileged opportunity to enjoy this show and to see how it all plays out, how they do it. But it is a very, very common tactic to allow your opponent to get into a position where they feel like they're going to get you and then you outflank them. Do I have to remind you guys that all the fences in the Capitol had the barbed wire facing inward and have the screws on the outside? They are designed to keep people in, not keep people out. That's what's going on. They know it. They are running out of pieces on the chessboard. I don't know why it took Kamala so long to resign, but the reality is she had to resign either today or tomorrow. So I guess she chose to do it today because it's MLK Day, would be my guess. I mean, she has to resign by the time she takes the position of vice president. So she was probably trying to keep her options open. But the reality is that it wouldn't matter if she was in the Senate or not. Because if she was in the Senate, she'd still get arrested. We are going to see hundreds of people get arrested, I think. I don't know how they're going to do it. There's stuff going around that, they're going to arrest him right as he's going to get the, right as he comes out, they're going to arrest everybody. I don't know how it's going to happen, but we're going to see some stuff. Bet on it. You're going to see some stuff. Because the alternative at this point is that the military completely betrayed us, and the military is working with the cabal and has betrayed Trump, and the military is working with the cabal to initiate a communist totalitarian society. So you have to ask yourself a really clear question here. Is the military working with the cabal to implement a totalitarian society under the control of communist China, effectively? Is that what the U.S. military, by and large, I'm not talking about a couple of corrupt generals, by and large, is that what military intelligence is like totally okay with? And is Trump, who they had, worked with for years and planned things with, Trump just give up and is going to resign himself to hopefully being left alive? Although, let's be honest, they're going to kill him. But hopefully they'll give him some scraps and let him stay alive, right? Begging the cabal. Does any of this stuff even make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. Or would it be the alternative theory, which is that we have an executive order that had the military watching foreign interference in the election, and the military watched the situation, and the military has been waiting to see how many fucking traitors do we have in our government before we have to take them down? Do you think for a second the United States military is going to give this country to communist China? Do you think that for a second? If you think that, you are an idiot. You're an idiot if you think that for a second. This is not taking them by surprise. It's not taking them by surprise. They know what's happening. The military is on full deployment across this country, on the borders. Some are claiming that Chinese soldiers are on our borders. I don't know if that's true or not. But we have radar stations being activated that have been closed down since the Cold War. We have the Italian government collapsing because of their involvement. How does that pattern with a military that doesn't care? You have to think of patterns. Signal versus noise. There's always crap you're going to get. There's always things designed to throw people off, to lull them into a false sense of security. The cabal's getting spooked. So frankly, if I was a white hat and I saw the cabal getting spooked and I want my plan to go ahead, you think of it like you have an animal. It's like, no, go ahead, go in the cage. Here's the food. And they start to get nervous. They don't want to go in the cage. So you got to give them a little something else to make them feel safe and secure. Maybe you step back a couple feet. So you have a little video come out with Melania that says she's leaving. Maybe that's what they do. Point here is that if you can't handle this stuff in military operations, things change on a dime. I bet you the National Guard troops don't even know what they're doing there yet. They just know they have to follow orders. So I don't have any time for Doom posters. It's too far in the game. It's too far in the game, guys. It's too far in the game. You guys are going to look stupid. Get some fucking balls. Get some fucking balls. And honestly, it is the guys who keep having this problem with having balls, surprisingly. Blown away by it. The women seem to understand. I mean, they get worried, but they trust guys. They trust people. They have trust. The guys don't. I don't know whether it's an ego thing. Maybe it's an ego thing. Maybe it's an ego thing that a lot of guys here, they can't think that other guys who have been saying this or that, they can't trust it. They have to be like, no, you're wrong. Get the fuck out of your heads. Seriously. No one cares. Doesn't impress anybody. You guys are going to look pathetic. It is much better. If we're even wrong, I don't care. I wouldn't change a single thing because we're not wrong about what's happening. Everything they're doing proves everything that we had believed and seen and predicted for months. All of this complete destruction of the United States, all the fucking idiots who still think Trump doesn't know what he's doing, they keep saying well, how are we supposed to have fair elections if you're going to do all this stuff to the judiciary? How are we supposed to have fair elections, we're not going to have fair elections, you dumb fuck. We're not going to have fair elections. We're not going to have a country. You're not going to be able to hang out with your business. Do you guys understand what the new COVID restrictions are? Do you understand what they are? It's something like you have to get tested, and we're going to talk about the test, right? New stuff. You have to get tested before you go on a flight, right? You got to get the PCR test when they shove nanobots up into your brain. Okay, that's been shown. People took apart the test, and you can see the nanobots on there, and they move. You got to shove that shit up your brain, and then you got to do it again. You have to test positive, right? 95% false positives, but you still have to go and do it anyway. And assuming, you roll the dice and the bullshit test gives you a negative answer, well, then you can go on your flight. But then you have to do it again when you land. Then you have to do it again when you come back. So you think that's going to be good? You get to go back to normal? Yeah, just continue to get nanobots shoved up your fucking skull and continue to get mRNA vaccines, which modify your DNA expression, and in all likelihood are designed to cut you off from God's source. Okay? They have been trying to shut us down from that from a very long time. Nothing's free. If it's free, you're the product. Okay? Our data, we've been the product. But all these vaccines are rushing out the vaccine. They're making lots of money off of it. We don't have to pay for it. It's all going to be... Yeah, well, we don't have to... These greedy fucks, you think they're giving it to us for free because they really care about us? How dumb are people that they still buy this stuff? Unbelievable. If we're wrong, it doesn't matter because there was nothing else that we could have done differently, realistically speaking. So don't feel any shame or guilt. about what's happened. Don't feel any shame or guilt. If we were happen to be wrong, it doesn't matter. People are gonna laugh at you. What are they laughing for? They should hope to fucking God we're right. Because if we're wrong, their life is gonna get really bad. It's gonna get really, really bad. And the reality is that all these people, you would see within the first 4 years of a Biden's presidency. Well, actually, you would see like so many people die, it would blow your mind. Okay, they would get into a war, probably with Russia. There'd be some sort of nuclear exchange at some point. So but before that even happened, people would start to be like, "Wait a minute, this isn't right. I don't really agree with this." And well, if I didn't really like Biden, but I just felt like, yeah, you felt that. Well, fuck you. How about that? Fuck you. Because you felt that. I just didn't really feel like Trump. Yeah, well, your feelings, your inability to look at the facts, your inability to stand up when it actually mattered, put us in the mess. The good news is, I'm telling you guys, it's not going to go that direction. It's not going to go that direction. But I just, like, hold the line. You have no reason not to hold the line. You understand that? You understand that. Okay? Look at it like this. You have been put in a position, a vulnerable position, in the nature of the grand battle plan strategy. Okay? And so you're in this position and they're coming at you. And you're afraid of what's going to happen. Well, guess what? You can stay in the phalanx and you can fight and you can stick with the strategy, because if you stick with the strategy, then they're going to get flanked themselves and get wiped out. Or you can panic and run and you can still get killed. It doesn't make a difference. You understand that? It doesn't make a difference. Everything that we are doing right now, everything that we have been doing, has done an enormous amount to help this planet and to help people wake up. That's the truth. And if we're wrong, there is nothing differently that we could do. It's all ego stuff that people have this big thing like, you were wrong, see? No, we were right. We were wrong that there was a solution, but we were right about the problem. And you didn't see either. And so now we're in a position where we have to now come up with a solution while you continue to stay there and gloat about your own fucking demise. Not very smart way of thinking of these people. So there's no reason to falter for a second. It doesn't do any good. You still look, nothing in your life changes. Except you can say, you know what, I decided to stand up for something that actually mattered. Decided to be here for something that mattered. I don't have any regrets whatsoever. I don't care. I don't care. I put it on the line. I know what my heart tells me to be true. I know what my mind confirms for me. I know when someone lies to me over and over again, I know not to believe them. So when the media tells me that Biden's going to be president, when they told me that he didn't steal the election, I know they're lying. Okay, you understand that? We're almost there. Just a little bit longer. I promise I'm going to open the big wine. I'm going to open the good wine on our first post EBS broadcast. And save it for them. Let's see. What are the questions we got here? Yeah, I heard vaccines make women have infertility problems and they want to make pregnant women take it too. Yeah, they do have infertility problems. That's been evidenced. And pregnant women are taking them. I have a family member who's doing that too, which is a sad subject. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, what happens to Trump's family if he loses? He won't let that happen. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mentioned this in the last Periscope, but if Trump, Trump's dead. Trump's family, him and his family are dead and impoverished. They will never find business again on the planet. People have to understand this. Like, I don't like to use, I'm a nuanced guy. Anybody who follows my work with dating relationships, I'm a nuanced guy. Okay. But I call a spade a spade. This is a fight to the death. It's a fight to the death. If the white hats don't succeed, if the white hats don't have a plan, then they're done. That's the way it is. You have to understand that. So they understand the stakes. They would not they would not put themselves in this situation if they didn't have a plan to win it. I think that we are literally at the point where all we have to worry about is how messy is it going to be? How messy is it going to be? That's it. We win, but is it going to be a messy win? So far, Trump has done an incredible job of keeping it clean. Like, people want things just to be done in 2 seconds. They have no idea how deeply infiltrated all of society is, or they know, but they don't appreciate how that matters. Like, when you have such deep levels of infiltration across every sector of society, you can't just, like, flip a switch without creating massive chaos. Okay, you can go and do mass arrests and arrest all the cabal, and then the economy crashes. And then people have no money, and people have no food. And then they go against you, and then you have to put down the population then. And how many millions of people die as a result of that? They are trying to do this. It's a controlled demolition. That's what it is. It's a controlled demolition. They want to blow up all the sections at the same time. And guys, they're blowing up all the sections this week. Okay? Next 2 days, they are blowing up these fucking sections. They've set the charges and they've been waiting. People want them to blow up like, I want you to blow up this floor. Now blow up that floor. That's not how you do a controlled demolition. You set the charges equally across everything. Maybe you knock off a certain section if you have to, right? But you do a controlled demo. Too many people here are children in the way that they think. They think they're so instant gratification. They just act like children, where all they want to do all the time, they want everything done on their own schedule. I just can't take it anymore. Well, you got to take it. How does it feel whenever you feel like a bitch? Look at Trump and ask yourself, how did he manage it? I can tell you, he gives me strength. I look at him and I look at what he's done. That's the reason I was a Trump supporter. I mean, I loved his policies, but I was like, you know what? I didn't at first. I was like still in that, upper middle class, rich, whatever. Trump's, he's a little abrasive. And then I got to the point I was like, you know what? Actually, this is a guy who fights. This is a guy who can hold tension. He can deal with, can hold frame. He can deal with tension. This is a man. And, I asked myself, what would Jesus do? And I asked myself, what would Trump do? How would Trump act in the situation? He's showing us how to be men. In a certain sense, he's showing us how to be men. You don't have to take all the stylistic aspects of him, but he is fundamentally showing us how to be men, where you accept a burden and you carry it. And you carry it across the finish line. You don't whine like a bitch throughout the process of it. That's what he does. That's what he's been doing. The amount of betrayal that man has faced, the amount of deceit he's had to deal with, people lying to his face, for God's sake, is maybe his own son-in-law, right? People always suspected Kushner, maybe his own son-in-law. Notice that Ivanka did not speak at the rally on the 6th. Can we have a little bit of empathy for the man? And can we look at that and say, like, if he can do it, we can do it? Because he is literally, in a certain sense, Atlas. He has the world on his shoulders. And what do you have? You got to wait 48 more hours. Stop being a bitch. Seriously, just stop being a bitch. You got to wait 48 more hours. And if that doesn't work out, then let's talk. But don't give up. God wins, light wins. Right? We got this. We got this. We got each other. We are all in the formation together. And we're not going to back down from this stuff. We're not going to let him take over this planet, guys. We're not going to let him do it. We're not. That's not the way that destiny goes this time. If you feel the energy, you know it. It always feels bad when you're in the storm, but then when the storm passes, it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Let's go down here. What is your religious background for the followers? I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I think that people have different paths to God, but I am a Christian. I am not a mainstream Christian, and I know that I get crap from some Christians for this, for some esoteric aspects of my beliefs, but whatever. Also, I can't really find a good church because of that esoteric aspect. So, but yeah, from my background, Christianity is my pathway to source. I'll put it that way. Yeah. What are legitimate ways we can opt out of the vaccination program? Depends on your country. I mean, I just say no. I'm not vaccinating my daughter. I'm willing to pay fines. I have to pay fines. I had to look for doctors. I have to, it's work. Yeah, it's work. But I'm not going to have my daughter injected with this shit. I'm not going to have it happen. I wouldn't be a good father if I didn't protect my daughter like that. But you make your own decision. You do your own research. But the more I've done, the more I've been like, I don't even think I was like, maybe some of them I'll take. Maybe some of them I'll give to my kids. The more research I've done, I'm almost like, it's just not worth it at all. Because it's not to say that, like, even the ones where it does prevent the problem, it's like, is it worth it? Is the problem worse than the cure? Right? Some of them don't do anything, or some of them do things for stuff that you would never get, and then some do things for stuff that you might get, still low percentage, but then they do other things to you that aren't good. And those are the hardest ones to decide about because you're like, well, this one works, but do I prefer measles or do I prefer a direct injection of aluminum to the brain? Let me tell you something, guys. Up until 1999, so up until the early 2000s. Okay, now the adjuvant. Of course, we're not talking about mRNA. Okay, mRNA vaccine is actually not even a vaccine because COVID is not really COVID. It's something, but it's not really this thing that they've isolated. The mRNA vaccine is a completely different thing. Okay, so it's not really a vaccine. It's designed to cut you off from God's source. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to fuck you up, cut you off from God's source. Some people die from it. Whatever, you can do your own research. I don't care. You make your own decision. It doesn't matter to me. Everybody has their own choice to make. But the prior vaccines have been mostly in the last 20 years aluminum based. Aluminum's a neurotoxin. But aluminum isn't so bad compared to mercury. Okay. And I want to put this in perspective here. So they were producing vaccines for years and they were not, they were not, so to speak, making a profit off of these vaccines because there were so many claims of liability that pharmaceutical companies just weren't doing very well with it. And so you have the two-phase thing. And you guys have heard some of this stuff before, but just for some people who are tuning in right now, I'm just going to quickly go through it. Two things occurred. First off, vaccines, even prior to this, are not actually medicine. They're called biologics, and the reason for that has to do with the Cold War and the event of a biological attack on the United States, that they would be able to rush out a vaccine to deal with anthrax or something like that. And so the intention here was that they would be able to rush it out without the regular regulations. Now, of course, you can understand that maybe you can understand it in a although you can understand it maybe in an emergency situation, but the reality is that it got the separate categorization, and then with Reagan, okay, in the 80s, 86, I believe, he signed into law that basically removed liability from vaccine producers, and so suddenly this thing that pharmaceutical companies made that they lost money on, they hated making, now became a massive moneymaker because they were absolved of liability, which was taking away their stuff. So then, surprise, surprise, you saw the number of vaccines that was required shoot up dramatically. Okay. Lefties, I don't understand how so many lefties are so lost in their principles. They're so morally bankrupt at this point because they used to be against this stuff, right? And some still are, but they used to be so against this stuff. They're like, oh, the revolving door of big business and the regulatory agencies. And now they're just like, give me a vaccine. Give me, give me, give me. You're an anti vaxxer. It's just amazing. It's amazing how easy it is to program people based on their polarizing side. Does the left support this? Does the Democratic Party support this? Now you don't believe in it. Now you believe in it, or now you don't believe in it, depending on your polarization, right? Republicans will go one direction or another. Democrats will go one direction or another. Detach from that bullshit. Detach from the bullshit. Trump was a detachment from the bullshit because Trump's policies were the best of the Democrats and the best of Republicans, right? And that's why they all hated him, because he actually promised them good policies without bad policies. Can you believe it? Can you believe somebody's actually going to tell you he's going to make everything great? He's going to make America great again. No, we don't want that. We don't want that because he talks mean. He says mean tweets. So anyway, back to the vaccine stuff. Fun fact. So if you were to drop, I don't think it was this individual vial. It might have been like 10 vials. Okay, you had little like layers. If you were to drop a layer, like a tray, which I think it has 10 vaccines in it. If you were to drop a tray of vaccines in a doctor's office, you know what would happen, guys? You know what would happen? They would evacuate the entire building and call in a hazmat team because there would be airborne mercury, and that was very dangerous because mercury is an incredibly toxic chemical. And they were injecting this inside of you, past your blood-brain barrier. They were injecting this inside of you. You know what's even worse? It got so bad, the evidence that it was killing kids and fucking up people was so bad that, you know what they did? You know what they did? They said you can't put mercury in vaccines anymore. It's too bad. All right? And the pharmaceutical companies threatened to sue because they had stockpiles of this stuff that they had made. So the compromise was that they let 4 more years, for 4 more years, up until 2003, they allowed these companies to continue to give you something that if the vial broke, they would have to call in a hazmat team. They were able to inject that into your body. That's how evil these people are. That's how evil they are. And that's why I make no apologies for anything I've done. And I could care less about their attempts to coerce. Come and get it. Come and fucking get it. You will not be able to capture my soul. If you kill my physical avatar, it does not matter to me at all. You are not going to win. You are not allowed to be here anymore. Okay? These demons, they are not allowed to be here anymore. We are done. The earth is moving into a different frequency, and this is no longer a place they're welcome. They can't do this stuff to us anymore. I don't consent. You don't consent. We do not consent to be treated like this. We don't. Okay? Trump doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. What matters is that we don't consent. What is relevant is that Trump agrees. So if you don't like Trump, but you don't consent, you are in dissonance. And you can sort your fucking self out because we are tired of dealing with it. We're tired of hearing, well, you know, I don't like this person, but I do like this person. I don't like Trump, but, you know, I do agree with this. I don't agree with what they're doing. Just cut this shit out. Seriously? Cut this shit out. No one cares if you don't like Trump. Get over it. Get the fuck over it. Well, I don't really like Biden's policies, but Trump, you know, I just really find him. No one gives a fuck. You have no integrity whatsoever? Get the fuck over it. That's where we're at right now. No more time to coddle your bullshit. If you don't like someone who's doing the right thing because it offends your ego, then check your fucking ego. That's the way it is. Check your fucking ego. We are tired of it. All right, let's check these questions. Yeah, exactly. All we have to do is not doom post. We don't have to physically fight. It's the same stuff. Yeah. Germany's talking about camps now for people. It's like, we hate the Nazis. People have been bombarded with Holocaust propaganda. Okay, it's not to dismiss the Holocaust, but like, it's fair to acknowledge that it's been propaganda, and the way that's presented, including the way it's presented with how the entire thing unfolded. Okay, so, and yet we've been hit with that so much so that half of our World War II history is literally just about the Holocaust, and yet people are okay with putting people in camps. You know, it's amazing. Salmon killed Hitler. Salmon saved the USA. I agree with that. I can't actually cannot buy out Yellowtail Wineries, guys. If I ever have a winery, and to be honest, I don't think I will have a winery. Maybe I will. I think one of my kids will have a winery. I think one of them. I think one will have a winery, but I don't think I will have a winery. Although I do think I will do something with wine, and maybe what I would like to do is I would like to. I have a plan actually. I don't want to share it. I don't want to give out any information yet, but I have an idea for distribution. Wait, someone say something. I just lost my feed. Someone say something. I lost my feed. Periscope's glitchy these days. God damn it. All right, wait, hold on. Guys, I took away my feed. I don't know what's going on here. In here. Yeah, my feed is blank. My feed's blank. Well, look, maybe it'll come back. I don't know what's going on. This thing is glitchy. They're trying to get rid of the Periscope. Maybe they hate me. I'm getting more and more crap. If I can survive 2 more days, I don't think I'm gonna get banned. 2 more days, guys. Just 2 more days. I gotta. All right, here we go. Now we're starting to get this stuff. All right. Let me go back. I want to get your. Just want to go through your messages. Yeah, Ivanka married into Illuminati via Kushner. I don't think the deep state could cut a deal with him. He's done too much damage to them, guys. They're already saying he won't be allowed in the Capitol. They're going after his supporters. And look, he's a loyal person. He's a very, very loyal person. We just can't. It's not going to happen. I don't know if Kushner is good or not. I don't know if this is all fake optics. Oh, also, I wanted to mention, people talked about Pence. Is Pence Snape? That's a common point of theorizing these days. I don't know, guys. My sort of take is that Pence is obviously still doing some stuff. My sort of take is that Pence made a deal. My take. Pence, I don't get the sense that Pence is like super good guy. He could be. Maybe he is Snape. Maybe it's true. But I just don't get energy from him. And so my sort of take is that he did some bad things and he was offered a deal. And maybe he was offered enough of a deal that he won't be executed, or some of these things won't be released. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know. But I don't have the sense that Pence is a good guy. I don't have that sense. But I do have a sense that he's taken a deal for our side, at least a partial deal. I mean, I don't. People have always suspected Kushner. I don't know about that. I don't think Trump's getting cucked by Kushner, but it's possible that he knew but didn't gave extra chances because it was his son-in-law, his grandchildren's father, right? Reports of news network employees saying Wednesday at 8 a.m. legit. No, I can't say it's legit. Who knows about that stuff? I mean, we have no idea. But I do think that the FCC has been going to these stations and telling them, reminding them strongly about their obligations. So we'll see how it happens. I mean, I mean, look, the media has to get taken out. So if the media has to get taken out, there needs to be another communication source. And so EBS is logical. So I do think we're going to see it. And it really does feel calm. I mean, it does feel like the calm before the storm in the sense that I feel totally calm at this point. Early last week, I felt a little bit more than I do now. Wine question, is Russian River Valley good value? I wouldn't say it's good value. It's good wine. California wine's too expensive. It's too expensive. Russian River is a good location in Sonoma. So they produce a lot of good Merlot and Cabernet mostly. Also Pinot Noir, I think, as well. But I haven't... we might do America after Italy, actually. We might do America after Italy. Because Italy's been such a big old world country. I think it's important for us to have an intermezzo, at the very least. I'm thinking maybe we do Austria, and then maybe we jump to America, maybe. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. We still have a couple more weeks of Italy, though, because I really want to nail it down. So I got a lot more stuff. Sorry, let's keep going down here. Let's see. I lost my... They keep cutting out my comment feed, guys. I just lost it again. It's like I'm looking at it and then it just suddenly disappears. So I'm gonna use these last 10 minutes to do the questions that I had for this Periscope beforehand. So question for CABAL Periscope I think I actually answered this already. Does the Pfizer vaccine shut down the parts of your DNA that can connect to 5D? So as I understand it, the vaccine cuts down your ability to connect to God. So that would be 5D, because the higher up in dimension you go, the closer you get towards source. People have asked me before about what's beyond 5D, and my sort of understanding of that is that 3D is self, like sense of self-preservation, okay? Which is why there's so much fear in 3D, because 3D is that you identify with the body, with the form. 4D is more of an identification with the mind. It's very much more intellectual. It's a sense of trying to understand. So there's an ability to separate yourself somewhat from the body. And that can be negative, of course, because in order to truly ascend as a whole, you need to move your entire body forward, right? There's a difference between enlightenment and ascension. Ascension is moving your entire body upward, right? Activating DNA within your physical form, whereas enlightenment is more leaving your body, right? So a lot of people who get in the 4D do it from a sense of detachment from the body, which is not good. 5D, okay, 5D is more of a it's more of a unity. It's love. It's more of a unity consciousness. You're much more in the observer position with things. You don't take things personally. Yourself is not directly impacted by things that occur on a macro scale. So you have to look at it like higher levels of perception. So the 3D person who is in a reactive state to everything that occurs to him has no big picture awareness at all. Literally, the 3D person he sees the person who's in front of him attacking him. The 4D person has a bird's eye view. The 5D person has a view from space. Okay, so there's levels of just perception. Basically, that's how it works. So 60 apparently is when you completely leave any sort of physical form. Like 5D is no longer identifying with physical form. 60 is leaving physical form. And so when you get to 60, you've effectively entered into light body. I've also heard people discuss this as a geometric sort of state of awareness. So you see things in geometric patterns. I am not sure about this one way or another. I haven't gotten there. So, oh, thank you. I have Q here. We have Q in the chat. Q has entered the chat, right? All right, I got my chat back. I'm gonna just really go through this quickly. Ivanka's Illuminati now. Yeah, we'll see. I never really got a good vibe from her, to be honest. So they infiltrate families, so we'll see. I have not read Life of Christ by Papini. Your son was talking about MMR and flu vax. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I've heard so much of it. It's terrible shit, really. Thermosil, yeah, it's mercury, basically. Is that it? Is that what happens when people report comments? My comment section shuts down. I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works. Well, all right. This is a good question. What is the reason that why they need mercury or aluminum in the first place? Well, as far as I understand, they initially said that they need these things as preservatives. But of course, the reality was that they were not preservatives. They were then revealed to be adjutants. And so this is when you really start to understand what's in these things. And this is when you start to really understand how fucked up it is. So when you get sick, and I apologize if I get a detail wrong here or there because I am not an immunologist, but I'm going to try to speak in bigger picture terms rather than specific mechanisms for that reason. But when you get sick with a virus, your body has an immunoresponse, okay, which involves the creation of antibodies and inflammation to an extent, which in that sense is acute inflammation, which is not bad. Now, of course, if you're chronically inflamed, your immune system doesn't work properly because it's firing at your own stuff, hence why you get allergies, hence why people who are fat, like really fat, and who have all sorts of inflammatory diseases are getting killed off by COVID. Because if you're inflamed, then getting sick with something that creates a higher level inflammatory response is likely to off you, okay? But if you have a normal, healthy, functioning immune system, I just want to make that point though, that the reason that we have so many of these inflammatory diseases and allergies is because we are inflamed. All the sort of autism has to do with inflammation of the brain, of which vaccines have a part with that, because when you insert a neurotoxin like aluminum into your brain, it also creates brain inflammation. So, and this is where we're going to get to the next point, which is that we've been told they were preservatives, but they're not preservatives, right? They're not preservatives, or maybe they do a little bit of preservation, but that's not the real point. The point is that they are trying to get your immune system to respond to the virus. So they inject you. If they just injected you with some of these viruses, your body wouldn't respond to them because they're not going to affect the body. We are surrounded with viruses all the time. All the time. They're everywhere, which is why you can test a pawpaw fruit and get a COVID. Well, actually, it could be the test that did that. But the reality is that there's probably COVID right on my finger. Don't tell the CDC. It's probably all over the place. Doesn't make a difference. Coronaviruses are a regular type of germ, regular category of viruses. So if you have this. So if you want to make so what happens if you get sick with a virus? Your body creates an immunoresponse. It because there's something there, and it engages and it produces antibodies because there's a foreign object. They notice enough of it that it creates an issue. So there's a response. So you would think that if a vaccine was effective, that it would be sufficient to simply insert the virus inside of you. And then your body would respond. You insert a certain amount of virus, your body would respond and take it out. But actually, that's not how it works because, well, someone can explain that to me. So you insert the virus into the body, but it doesn't affect the body because you're healthy and the virus is all over the place and your body doesn't actually have an issue with the virus. So the virus isn't the issue, it's your response to the virus. Okay? So what they do to make your body respond to the virus, ostensibly to create antibodies, is they insert things aside from the virus that will make your body create an immunoresponse. And so that entails foreign DNA from aborted fetuses, which your body doesn't like to have foreign DNA in its body. So your body will create an immunoresponse to attack that. And of course, the virus is right there too. But then they're like, well, maybe it didn't work, so you have to get boosters. But what's actually happening is you're injecting your body with things that your body's creating immunoresponses to. But they're not necessarily the virus that you're creating antibodies, which is why they have to do the boosters. So aluminum is a toxin, and your body responds to exogenous aluminum being released into your body with an inflammatory response. So they actually put things in your body to fuck you up, because in the argumentation of this perverse logic is that actually makes you healthier, because if your body is getting inflamed, then it's responding. You guys get that? That's the bullshit. That's the bullshit. And that's why I won't participate in it. And of course, you can make your own choice. You can do your own research. But nope, not for me. Not for me, peeps. Anyway, I love you guys. Hey, fingers crossed tomorrow's going to be some good stuff. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, keep the faith regardless of what happens. Release attachment. We don't consent. That's all that matters. I love you. I'll see you.